What is up? I am TJ. This is Uncommon, and so are you. Guys, welcome to the Dad Show on its 24th season. I know, it's like the Simpsons, right? 24 seasons. I think they're probably in their 40s, probably, like Survivor. Welcome to this week. We are focusing on dads since Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. So be mindful to get your dad something, or at least go spend some time with him. Give him a call, whichever, this Sunday. So welcome to the session. If you're new to it, we do a weekly show around the topics of husbands, dads, leaders. And then on the odd weeks, we'll do a miscellaneous topic. So this week we're focusing on dads. And so I hope everybody is having a great week. One of the ways that we'd like to reach out to our audience is through our Uncommon Live, and mention a few things that help us along the way. One of them being our membership program is a great way for people to help financially support Uncommon. We are 100% donor supported. That is a great way. Our membership program is $25 per year, and 100% of that goes back into the ministry to create new content as we need to. One of our partners is Armored Coffee, and I want to give a shout out to Randy and let them know that they are still as awesome as ever. I'm going to go close this blind here because I got a little sheen happening. Hang on a second. Of that. Apparently the sun keeps moving, and so it's sometimes challenging to light the room and not get blown out. So, but one of our partners is Armored Coffee. They do a fantastic job of supporting nonprofits, and one of the things they do for us is they create a uncommon blend. It's called Uncommon Grounds, and they are giving us a couple of pounds of coffee to give away, and I'll touch on that next. So if you are just hearing about the Uncommon giveaway, I'm sorry to say you're late to the party, as they say, but there is still time yet to enter. It is 100% free to enter. It is a 100% free giveaway. It does not cost you anything. There are ways to enter. That one of them has a cost. If you want to purchase a membership, that is $25, and that equals a certain number of entries. But everything else you can do to enter into the contest is completely free, such as subscribing to us on YouTube, or watching YouTube videos, possibly following us on Facebook or Instagram, referring a friend. There are several ways to do it. One that is kind of sneaky is the YouTube videos. So you can watch multiple videos, and that counts for multiple entries. And on the back end, we've seen guys really make up some ground or really rack up the entries by watching videos here on our YouTube channel. So be sure to visit that link I just put in the comments, or go to our website at uncommon.org and click on the big Buffalo Jackson duffel bag. That bag is gorgeous. I did a little teaser video Tuesday of this week, kind of poking fun at wanting to keep it. I really do, but I'm not. I'm going to give it to someone. And so be sure to check that out. So let's jump into this week's session. So welcome to the Dad Show. It's a couple things. The star of our show, obviously, is the dad. There's a couple questions for the dad. He's our leading man, and the part is complicated, you might say. And so here's a couple of questions for our leading man. Are you ready for your close-up? There are times when your family, your children, friends, man, they're looking closely at you on what you do, what you say, how you act, what you don't say, and they read into every little bit of it. Fair or unfair, that's just the role of a dad. Do you know your lines? Because when my wife and I first had our first child, there is no manual or guide that can prepare you for all the little things that you need to be ready for, to talk about, to answer, because you will get some questions, nonstop questions. And so, do you know your lines? It's important. How is your supporting cast? Do you have a spouse that really supports your role as a dad? Do your children respect you as a dad? Is your performance Oscar worthy? Now, not that Oscar is or mean anything, but is your performance worthy of being called a dad? And the last one is maybe you need an acting coach, right? You to help you smooth out the rough edges of your role as a dad. Uh, like I said, that there is no manual to get it right. So looking to other people, other men that do this well, that may have already put in the time, in the prayer, and sought the godly counsel, is what you need to do as well. So having a acting coach is part and parcel, I think, for our leading guy in the dad show. So, with that little bit of fun of casting our dad here, we asked a question to our faithful group of guys. And the question of the week, and by the way, if you want to be included in this uncommon question of the week, email me at tj@uncommon.org or comment in this video or on social media and let me know that you want to be included on our weekly uncommon question of the week. We never mention anybody's names, so we don't embarrass anybody. We just give their answers, and sometimes we take and boil it down a little bit so that maybe won't be so as revealing. So we really take that seriously. So our question this week was, what is one thing that you strive to mimic from your dad? One thing. And there are certain people I did not ask, and some people I did. And so I asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men, 8 men. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them had the same answer. So one of them is his compassion for others, which is a great attribute. If you are a dad, you have compassion for others. That is fantastic. Another one was he was slow to anger, which is unusual for a dad. They're always billed on TV as this maybe hot-headed, yelling, barking out orders to people. This gentleman's dad was slow to anger. Another one was he educated himself. He used to keep a dictionary by his favorite recliner. And whenever he ran across a word he didn't know, he'd look it up, make sure he understood it. And he always learned a new skill. Each summer, he would spend time learning a new skill, whether it be woodworking or maybe working on his car or electrical, plumbing, something like that. That's a great example. One of them was not one thing. And that's very sobering to hear if you are a dad, that nothing about what you have taught your children they value enough to implement in their own lives. That is very sobering. And then the balance of these answers all fell in the category of work ethic. Work ethic is a great thing. My dad and my mom, they worked like crazy. They always were hard workers. I don't think my mom ever called in sick to work. I never remember her calling in sick to work. So always a good work ethic is a great thing to have, because you can see many people do not value following through with their work, their employment, their commitments. And so having a great work ethic is a beautiful benefit to someone's resume. But you see a trend here. I intentionally asked for one thing, as many men struggle to find more than that when looking back at their role of their dads. You can see over 50% of our answers were around work ethic. And while that's great, it is just as important, if not more, how you impact your children when you're not working, when you are at the house or at the dinner table, or out serving in the community together, or talking about Jesus. Many guys fall into the category of their escape from the role of a dad happens when they're at work. And when they come back, it gets sometimes too complicated or too real, too uncomfortable. They're not trained in this. They've spent no time trying to learn how to communicate or what to do, how to act. And so that part of it tends to shut down, the quiet dad that maybe sits in a recliner and drinks a beer and watches TV until it's bedtime. That is a poor way to go about the role of dad in your family's life, in your kid's life. So it is important for us to maybe have some guidelines. So we created a little cheat sheet, the Uncommon Dad cheat sheet. And this is nowhere near exhaustive, obviously. We just chose 10 things that we want to just touch on real quick as a cheat sheet for dads. And we'll post this in the comment section or the description of this video for your reference if you're looking for it. Number one, embrace your relationship with God. Spending time in the Word, praying, asking for wisdom. There's a lot of knowledge, obviously, in the Bible, and a lot of it can be applied to being a godly dad or a better dad than I am right now. And so embracing your relationship with God not only benefits you, but your children see that as well. Number two, communicate with truth and grace to your children. Speak to them early and often about Jesus. Sometimes you need to speak truth to someone. They may not like it. Apparently a little tough love. You hear that statement. No, I don't want you to do that because of this. And the reason why is because I care about you, or it's not in your best interest. Truth and grace. Because if you are dropping the ball as a dad, you can't say things like, do as I say, not as I do. That is a weak statement from a dad position. So, number three, be consistent to who you are in public and in private. Because your kids are going to see you act a certain way at home. They're going to see you act a certain way in public, and they're going to consider you to be a hypocrite. You may be in public and screw on a smile and be very humble and very holy and very pious. And then at home, you turn into this egomaniac that runs the house like a dictator and is kind of abusive in some fashion or negligent in your role. And so your kids will see that. You cannot fool your kids. They see you because you're on. The dad show is on 24/7, whether you know it or not. Just like the Truman Show, it is just like that for a dad. If you're married, uphold your wife as your number one friend and partner in life. Realize that loving your wife is one of the greatest things you can do for your kids, because they see that marriage is important, building relationships are important, loving each other are important, encouragement, that type of thing. You won't always get that right. And that's the downside of seeing you 24/7 as a dad and your wife, is they're going to see the fights. They're going to see the ups and downs, the struggles and the successes and everything in between. But that is part of that communicating with truth and grace. When I screw up, I try to admit it and own up to it and apologize for it and move forward. The worst thing I could do is try to cover that up or act like it's someone else's fault as well. So, number 5, practice the discipline of humility. Display the combination of humility and strength. Yelling and abuse of any kind will never be tolerated. Never tolerated. If you are yelling and are abusive to your children, you need to seek some counseling, because that is not what you have been called to do. Number 6, raise your son to be godly men and your daughters to be godly women. There is a difference, and a good father knows how to engage both differently. You might speak one way to your son and another way to your daughter, not up or down to either, but different topics, different encouragement, listening differently, on and on. But knowing that there's a difference of, I want to talk to my son about things that are important to him. I want to talk to my daughter about things that are important to her. Never, I'm going to talk down to one or the other. They're both equally important to you, equally important. And the adolescent period, when most guys pull back, I would recommend that you engage at a deeper level, because that's when the problems get bigger, right? Small children, small problems. Big kids, big problems. Small kids, I want ice cream, which can be a big problem too, I guess. I want ice cream, or he has my toy, to I am taking drugs, or I'm pregnant, or whatever the case is. You can see that it is important to stay engaged at all those years and even into adulthood. Number 7, make time to listen. Many times it's not about fixing the issues, but rather just listening. And that is something guys struggle with, including myself. Get into, I'm a fix it mode. You just tell me the problem, give me the problem. I got the fix. Just listen to me. They do not want you to fix everything. They want you to listen. Just listen. It's time to listen, ask some questions, and maybe don't offer any advice right then unless you're asked. Maybe pray about something before, seek counsel yourself before you give advice. Make time to listen. Number 8, encourage and support your children. This is a great quote by Jim Valvano, and I think it's very fitting. It says, "My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me." That's great. Your kids are looking for your support, your discipline, your structure, your encouragement, your love, your guidance, a lot of things. So be on the lookout for opportunities. Number 9, mercy and grace are part of the household. As sinners, these men should know that we're always dealing with offenses or trip-ups. Just like we mess up often, daily, from a sin standpoint, your children, your kids, mess up as well. And so they need to be able to come to you and talk about something they've done wrong, or just like you're able to go to God and talk about what you've done wrong and repent. Number 10, take care of the fundamentals. Love, serve, sacrifice for your children, but don't hold it over them. Don't start with, you cost me $100,000 when you were born, and that child is, 13, 15, 20 years old. Uh, that's not their fault, right? Sacrifice for them, but do not hold it over them. Stay involved as they get older. Lead your family to Christ and be an example, not an excuse or a joke. Too many dads fall in the category of, wow, he taught me a lot of stuff, but he taught me mostly what not to do, what not to be. And you can see some of the feedback that I got was not one thing. That gentleman could not find a single thing that his dad did that he thought was worthy of mimicking to his children. And I would imagine that if I asked those other guys for one more thing, for a second thing that they could, if they learned from their dad to implement for their kids, they may struggle finding that second thing. Now, I hope that is a little sobering. I hope that is a little challenging. And I hope that spurs you on and me on to take our job, our role as a dad seriously. And there are many dads out there that are killing it, man. They are awesome at being a dad. Way to go. Keep going. Stay uncommon with that. But for those in between, those not quite there yet, no, those still working on it, hopefully this little cheat sheet is a way for you to kind of put up maybe the bumper rails on your bowling game and see if you can practice at certain things of your role as a dad. So our challenge, we're going to start implementing a challenge each week on this. I challenge you and me to reconsider our role as a father and examine our heart, our motives, and our reflection of Jesus to our children. Because if they can't find something worthy to put in their own life, how are they going to listen to you about Jesus? Our devotions. That's our cheat sheet. I'll put it in the comments, but this is our devotions. And there are some times that we have to only have like 2 or 3 devotions. Well, obviously, we got a ton around dads. It's one of our 3 pillars we do. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devotions for you. The first one is, I'm going to go back old school. One of our original pieces for Uncommon Dads. All these are on the YouVersion app. There's even an Uncommon Dads 2, the sequel. The next one is called Role Models. And some of these, they go back 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. One is, let's see, this is words, actually. This one here, the next one is called Father Figures. And all of these are usually a 5-day plan, so you can take these pretty quickly. Sometimes you could take more than one day at a time if you wanted to. But someone was telling me this week, a large church down in Atlanta, that the gentleman had said he had taken all of our devotions, which is impressive since it's 45 plus devotions. First thing I wanted to do was apologize for us putting out 45 devotions. Hopefully we've gotten better over time, but those first ones may have been a little rough, a little bit of hair in the cookie, as they say. But I thanked him for sticking with us as we always try to get better at our content. Here are some articles that pertain to dads. And what I did was I went in and I went back to some archives. I wanted to do some old school today for you guys. And so this one here is Dad, Use Your Tools. Another one here is called Taking Advantage of Dad Time with Your Kids. Then we had an article written around the topic of The Dad Show. It's now airing, The Dad Show. And then the last one is Dad, What You Say Matters. It's important to keep all this in mind. That's why the role of a dad is, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for just anybody out there. Anybody can be a parent. Only a few can be a dad. So as we end our session this week, I hope that it encourages some. I hope it throws some cold water on some to re-examine our role as a dad. I hope it challenges some that they look at that list and say, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on my communication. I'm going to focus on how I love people. I'm going to focus on this. I reflect Christ in my role as a dad. So I hope that it does something for you this Father's Day. And so as we end our sessions each week, I always ask for you to, one, be praying for Uncommon, as we always pray for you. We pray for our members, our charter leaders, all their families, anybody who's associated with our ministry, our people who send us prayer requests now on a daily basis. That is fantastic. You can see that God is moving, and we're just wanting to step out of the way and do as much as we can to magnify him. And so one of the ways you can help give back is to prayerfully consider partnering up with us by starting a membership. $25 a year. It's like just over $2 a month. I know that all of us spend more on coffee in a week than we would in $2 a month. So another way you can take part in Uncommon is sign up for our newsletter at uncommon.org. We send out a weekly newsletter that delivers the most recent blog to your inbox and a synopsis of the last 4 or 5 articles in case you miss one. You can go back and read those too. And then you can follow us on social media, on our Facebook, our Instagram, YouTube. As you can see, we are trying to develop more YouTube videos. So since our giveaway is ending this Sunday, so I had some fun this week. I shot a video. All these were shot on Tuesday, but Tuesday one went out, and then there is one happening tomorrow, and then there's a final one, a short one, happening Sunday. All these are under a minute, so they're quick hits. So be on the lookout for that on our social media. Come to our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that notification button, because we do this every Thursday at 2 p.m. And we try to do videos that go out, some short ones on Tuesdays. And so I hope all this stuff is blessing you. I hope that whatever we do is encouraging to you, because our motto is to encourage husbands, dads, and leaders to be the man that God always meant them to be. It includes us, 100%. Start with us. So I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a great Father's Day coming up. You either enjoying being a father, or you give some love back to your father this Sunday. All I'm saying is something chocolate cake. Hello, something chocolatey to my boys. Joshua, Noah, to my boys, chocolate, right? This Sunday wouldn't hurt my feelings. So hope you guys are doing well this week. And as always, since you're going to be something, be uncommon.